Welcome back to New Rockstars. It's me, Tommy B, and I'm happy to be back with all my Wookiee freaks talking about Clone Force 99. That's right, it's a bad boy breaking down Bad Batch, baby. In episode 11, Metamorphosis felt like Halloween came just a bit early with some serious horror movie vibes, including visual references to another iconic space-based franchise, Alien. We also got to see one of the most terrifying animated creatures I've ever seen, and I went to see both Smurf reboots, okay? So I know. Now, before we get started, if you want to look like me, fresh to death with these threads, you need to visit nerdriot.shop, where we have a brand new line of Mandalorian merch, including our two latest obsession shirts, the Foundling and the Way. Now, when you purchase these shirts, you will have the option to get a custom shout out from me or Eric Voss on one episode of Wookiee Leaks, which is now taking place on the break room on Wednesdays. So you want me to tell your girlfriend to get lost, or your boyfriend that you want to move in with him, your mother-in-law that she's got to move out of the grandma unit, buy a t-shirt, get a shout out, and I'll do it. That's at nerdriot.shop. Let's get into it. We get a great cold open of a badly damaged transport ship coming out of hyperspeed. As the ship careens towards a planet, a clone commando nervously searches for his fellow clones while strange noises echo around him. He looks left. He looks right. But we all know death comes from above. This is a visual parallel to those great xenomorph attack scenes in the Alien movies. I was surprised to see a Bad Batch episode open so terrifyingly. Even Kevin Kiner's score is goosebump inducing. We get a little astromech sighting as the nefarious Dr. Hemlock antagonizes Nala Se on the Mount Tantus station. I believe this location is another nod to Alien, as the Mount Tantus station is on the planet Wayland. Weyland-Yutani is the name of the fictional megacorporation in the Alien movies. Dr. Hemlock is the newest mechanically modified master of malfeasance, and he is none too pleased that Nala Se won't play ball and help the Emperor. Nala, who helped Omega and the Bad Batch escape Kamino last season, seems to think the Empire wiping her people off the map is a deal breaker. Hard to disagree with that. As far as we know, the only other Kaminoan that survived the attack into Poca City is the Prime Minister, who is currently being held in a cell in Coruscant. Dr. Hemlock demands that the Prime Minister be brought to Tantus for questioning. Meanwhile, the relationship between Sid and the Bad Batch is growing further strained. Even the normally cheerful Omega seems to be growing tired of Sid's loose interpretation of the words business associates. Sid says focus on the money and tells them about Transport 904, which is the ship from the opening, and how it's ripe for pillaging. Sid does a terrible job negotiating the Bad Batch's percentage, but it makes me think she was purposely giving more up because she assumed they weren't going to make it. Again, Sid's turn on the Bad Batch has been teased all season, and this time she's just limiting intel to them. We are back in horror movie mode as the Bad Batch reaches the wrecked transporter. Wrecker finds an abandoned high-volt electrostaff, usually used by clone commandos and the bane of my existence when playing Jedi Fallen Order. Tech resolves to restore power to the ship and break away from the rest of the group. Basically, this is shattering horror movie rule number one. Don't split up, you idiots. Omega is very worried about this idea, but Tech insists there is no reason to be concerned. Once again, these two are at odds strategically. Now, many of you reached out to me last week about how the show heavily implies that Tech is neurodivergent and possibly on the spectrum. We don't have an answer for that right now, so until someone on the creative side confirms it, I'm not 100% comfortable talking about it, but I think it's really cool that the show is showcasing how everybody's brain works a little bit differently. Naturally, splitting up proves to put both groups in danger. We've got tons of horror movie setups, scary music, slime, cliche lines like this.
What will they keep it in here? I don't know.
If you see me walking around with a little extra spring in my step this week, it's because our newest designs just dropped over at nerdriot.shop, and they're for the upcoming Mandalorian Season 3. We got two shirt designs, one with Grogu's lovable head and one with Din Djarin's metallic mug. I think they're both cute, and you can make them kiss. Both designs have Arabesh wording that translates to the Foundling and the Way, respectively, in a style that's inspired by Beskar steel. I'm inspired by Beskar steel every day. When you buy one of these shirts, you get the option to buy a special shout out on our Wookiee Leaks after show once the series starts in March. I'll wish your girlfriend a happy birthday. Or Eric Voss can say a prayer for the Foundlings that didn't make it through the struggle. Whatever you want. Also, at nerdriot.shop, our Quantumania line of shirts and hoodies are on sale. Everything is 15% off until the end of February. Get the new Mando designs and all of our other merch offerings at nerdriot.shop. Do it! Like all good scary movies, the monster's finally revealed halfway through, and holy shit, the Zillo Beast is terrifying. This monster feeds on electricity. Much like the Megavolt monster in Godzilla, the electricity it consumes makes it grow. The Zillo Beast made several appearances in the Clone Wars, and it's one of good old Sheev Palpatine's secret weapons to controlling the galaxy. Also, I forgot to mention this thing was eating a clone commando when we saw it. The creature is now running loose on the planet the ship crashed on and growing in size with each high voltage bite. Omega is able to identify a lot of the tech on board the ship as Kaminoan cloning tech, but thinks that this creature was created off-world. The ramifications of the attack on Tipoca City have been rippling below the surface all season, but it feels like they're about to reach a boiling point. Suspiciously good timing on the Empire's part leads to this cool King Kong tribute, with Imperial ships blasting the monster off the side of the building it was scaling before taking it prisoner. The Bad Batch narrowly escapes, and I swear to God, if they work with Sid again, they're gonna get a stern talking to from the T-Man. Seriously. Everything seemed set up for the Bad Batch to get captured, and I suspect Sid was behind it. Hunter agrees with me, which is why he's sending all of Tech's findings from the down ship to Captain Rex and Echo. The citizens of this world are taken into custody by the Empire, and Dr. Hemlock implies they're going to be dealt with, which in Star Wars speak means killed. So, what we know is that the Emperor is cloning Zillo beasts and hoping to weaponize them. The former Prime Minister of Kamino tells Dr. Hemlock that he must capture Omega if he wants Nala Se to cooperate with the Emperor's plans. I think the search for Omega will probably occupy a lot of our final 5 episodes. And that's about all the time I have to occupy this episode. And I'm gonna leave it right there. We'll be back next week with our episode 12 Easter egg breakdown. I'm Tommy Bechtold. Follow me at Tommy Bechtold. Follow New Rockstars on all platforms. Don't forget to pick up our sweet, sweet merch at nerdriot.shop, and I will see you later. For now, I have spoken.